Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you. And I should wish you Happy Teachers' Day as well. I've learned a lot from you in this office, so I'm going to wish you Happy Teachers' Day. But markets seem like it's teaching us a lesson again because it's come off the day's highest point as well. It's below, and almost when last I checked, it was trading at the day's lowest point as well. At one point of time, 19,600. It was around those levels, but then gave up all those gains over there as well.
Right, rightly so. Actually, thank you so much for that, Vinny. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for those Teachers' Day wishes. And yes, like you said, markets are definitely teaching us a lesson that you should not be too happy and too excited when you see the open in the positive territory. We've given up those gains coming in for the benchmark indices right now trading flat with a positive bias. You have Nifty Bank, that was the first one to actually slip into the negative territory, and that's where it is. 0.2% downtick coming in for Nifty Bank as we speak. I believe that is the day's lowest point coming in for Nifty Bank. Okay, tad bit off the day's lowest point. Let's take a look at what broader markets are doing, and they're actually sharply off the day's high. Look at small cap index. At one point in time, you have small cap index that's trading higher by about 1.3% or so. Right now, it's given up most of those gains, 0.5% uptick coming for small cap index. Mid cap index also ditto coming in for that one as well. Remember, both mid cap and the small cap index hit record high levels in today's trading session. Let's break it down to individual sectors then. If you look at the sectoral indices, at one point in time, you only had Nifty Bank that was under pressure with the metals, but right now you have metals, banks and energy that are under pressure, and you have auto index also that's actually slipped into the negative territory. Right on the flip side, your media index still holding on to strong gains, about 2.8%. We'll tell you shortly why is media index seeing good gains. You also have realty index seeing gains of about 1.1%, and pharma index holding on to gains about 0.6%. So that's the way how the markets are looking like at this point in time, Vinny. Yes, definitely we are off the day's highest point.
Absolutely. That's how the market setup is looking like. But there are a lot of individual stock movers in trade today. And to talk about that today on the technical front, we have Kunal Bothra with us. While from the research team, we're joined by Ankita as well as Ashesha, who's joining in with us as well. A very good afternoon to all three of you all. And let me, as always, start with the first stock that is in focus. And we're going to talk about TCNS Clothing. This one is in focus. Why? Because Nalanda India Equity Fund has actually sold around 8.9 lakh shares, which is around 1.4% stake in TCNS Clothing. This is via an open market in the bulk deal that happened last evening. Yes, the names of the buyers are still not known. So anywhere the buyers, if they're below that 0.5% stake, you do not have the names of the buyers. But look at the up move that you're already seeing in the stock and the cheer that we're seeing coming in. Post that, we're seeing TCNS Clothing after this bulk deal is in focus. 1.4% stake of change of hands as that has happened. So let's keep an eye out on TCNS Clothing today, as of now trading with gains for 3.9%, and this deal is worth around obviously and on June we saw them that Nalanda actually held 6.84% stake. Now obviously there's a reduction that has come in the stake by Nalanda in TCNS Clothing, so keeping an eye out on that one.
Alright, moving on, let's talk about an auto anchor company, and that is Sona BLW, because that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. They are set to acquire about 54% stake in Novelic for about $40 million. The target is a sensor solutions company. The company is intending to actually expand in the area of autonomous as well as connected vehicle technologies. Therefore, they've gone ahead with this particular acquisition. But as you can see, Sona BLW, Sona Comstar started the day on a very strong footing, but from there on given up all of those gains. Right now trading flat with a positive bias as we speak.
Okay, that is Sona BLW, that is in focus, Sona Comstar. But let's move on and talk about Navin Fluorine on the charts then. And Kunal, that's the first stock that you've picked out for us. When you look at it in the last 6 months, 9% return is what it's managed to give. So what is the upside that you're actually keeping for Navin Fluorine, or is it a time that we could see some bit of a consolidation before the upside actually starts?
So my expectation is that the stock would actually get into a breakout. Now, many of the specialty chemical stocks, they've actually been going through a 6 month, 9 month or a 1 year odd broad correction for these stocks individually. Many of these stocks have given very recently some signs of life coming back, where these stocks have shown some price volume activity coming back above the 50 as well as the 200 moving average. Same is the case with the charts for Navin Fluorine. The stock is above its 200 as well as the 50-day moving average. And on the weekly charts, it's on the verge of a breakout of a major resistance around this 46.20, 46.30 mark. So another 20-point jump on the stock approximately could lead to a strong breakout for the stock, and by that breakout, we could probably expect the stock to come back to the previous highs of 2022. That's 4,900 approximately. So a decent upside could be in the offing for a stock like Navin Fluorine as well as for many of the other specialty chemical stocks.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about Nazara Tech, then Ashesha. This particular counter was in focus in yesterday's trading session as well, but today, is it a different news flow?
Well, yes, different news flow. The company said that they will be considering additional fundraise via preferential issue, and the board meet is scheduled to happen on the 7th of September. So on the back of these fundraising plans that have come through, the stock is in focus today, nearly 7% higher today. And yes, as you mentioned, the stock was in focus yesterday also after the company said that they will be issuing equity shares worth about 100 crores to Kamath firms, as a result of which their shareholding in the company will increase from 0.7% to 2.7%. So the stock has run up over 15% in just a matter of 2 days on the back of these fundraising plans. Today, of course, on the back of this news flow, the stock is gaining nearly 7%.
Let's move on to the next one, and Tata Power, Ankita. Why is this one in focus? What's the news for you today?
That's correct, Vinny. Tata Power is in focus today. Now, the share price rose nearly 1% to hit a 52-week high of 262 rupees in early trade before easing off the gains, as the company said that its renewable power arm has signed a power delivery agreement with Neosim Industry. Now, the Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited will supply power to Neosim Industry, a grey and SG iron casting manufacturing company, from a 26 megawatt AC group captive solar plant. Now, the project is located in Jamkhed, Ahmednagar in Maharashtra, with an anticipated electricity generation capacity of 59 million units annually. And this project is likely to start from March 2024. And on the back of that, Tata Power is going to be in focus today.
All right, moving on from Tata Power, let's talk about stock that's seen a spectacular run in this entire year. If you look at the year-to-date performance, excess of 100%. Kunal, Chennai Petro, where do you see this one headed now?
So a fantastic uptrend so far this year. Previous year, in fact, start of the previous year, the stock was almost 2 digits, 1992 odd levels from where this rally started off at Chennai Petro. It's come back towards the life highs compared to 2016, 2007, where the stock was almost at the 500 mark, 470 odd mark for itself, which means that there could be a decent upside for the stock. Now, even after this 4x kind of a return in the last 2.5 odd years for a stock like Chennai Petro, given the fact that the stock is nearing this life high breakout level of 470, I believe that the upside potential could be significantly high for the stock. Now, what's also attractive for the charts over the near term is this V-shaped recovery which we're seeing in the stock in the last 1 month. So after a recent correction, the stock has managed to climb back more than 10% in this leg of recovery. So with this V-shaped recovery, as well as the longer term patterns being formed for Chennai Petro, looks very attractive as a strong mid-cap trade over the next 6 months to 1 year at least.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is Zen Technologies, which is in focus today. It's gained more than 2% in trade. And why is that so? Because the company has announced an order win of around 123 crores, and this is from the Defence Ministry. Now, let's not forget, as on June 30th, the company highlighted that they had an order book of around 542 crores, and during the quarter, they said the June-ended quarter also, they secured orders worth 733 crores, raising the total order book to 1,275 crores. So yes, they have a very strong order book, plus this order win is also added to the book. Now 123 crores is what the order win is that the company has received from the Defence Ministry. On the back of this order win, we're seeing that the stock is passing in trade today.
All right, so Zen Technologies is in focus on back of that particular development. Let's shift focus. Let's talk about Hinduja Global Solutions, because this counter is in focus in today's trading session on back of the tie-up that they've announced actually earlier in the day. So if you look at the company, it has actually, or rather the stock hit a 1 month high when the news came out, because it hit a 5% uptick. It saw a 5% uptick. The company has announced a partnership with UK's government digital service. The company will provide contact center support for gov.uk one login users of government digital service, which is a business unit, which is a part of the UK Cabinet Office. The gov.uk one login provides secure access to online government services. On back of this tie-up coming in with the UK government digital service, you can see the stock still holding on to gains of about 2.5% as we speak.
Right, let's move on to the next stock that is in focus. And Kunal, ABFRL is the stock that you've picked out for us. When you look at it in terms of last 1 year, the returns have not been anything exciting. Last 6 months also a bit subdued. Just in the last month, seems like they've picked up a bit of pace and we've seen a bit of a recovery coming near. Now, what are the charts indicating for this?
The stock is forming what we technically call it an inverted head and shoulder pattern. The breakout of this pattern or the neckline of this pattern is around 228, 230 mark, just about where the stock is trading right now. So potentially that the inverted head and shoulder pattern gets completed, we could be looking at least a 20-point further up move for the stock. Now, in that possible 20-point up move, the stock could try and challenge its 200 moving average as well as hopefully break past about those levels. Now, that could be a decisive breakout point for a stock like ABFRL. So, the recent charts have been quite strong. The recovery has been quite notable for the stock price, and now it's at a cusp of a breakout of an inverted head and shoulder pattern, which holds a lot of prominence to possibly change the trend for ABFRL from being on a major downtrend since the last 5 or 6 quarters to possibly being one of the more stronger revival stocks going forward.
All right, that's ABFRL, but Shesha, NHPC as well as IRFC, both of these counters are focused. But I believe the reason why it is in focus is because these counters have seen block deals.
Absolutely, it is on the back of block deals that both of these counters are in focus today. IRFC has been in focus for the last 2 trading sessions on the back of block deals. Today, 0.6% equity changed hands via 26 bunched transactions, and yesterday about 19.6 million shares changed hands via 13 bunched transactions on the back of block deals. The stock is in focus today. The stock is up 7.5% today. Remember, it is up 43% in the last 5 days and has run up nearly 120% on a year-to-date basis. So yes, it has been a wealth creator. Let's also talk about NHPC. Again, about 2.3 million shares changed hands via block deals. The stock is holding up with the gains of over 3%.
Okay. That is NHPC as well as IRFC. But let's move on and talk about Zomato then. And Kunal, what is the view now on Zomato? It's seen a good run up, in the last 6 months, 82% return. Do you think there's more upside left for Zomato now, or maybe a bit of a correction is something that is on the cards?
So 5 straight months so far for Zomato, and the stock has risen from 50 levels to, I think, just about nearing that 100 mark for itself. So there was a touch and go movement towards the 100 levels for Zomato just about a few days back. But the stock has gone to a mild selling pressure. I think this time around could be a big breakout point for Zomato. So my near-term targets for the stock is closer to 120, and I think dips or marginal corrections should be taken as a good buying opportunity. Would expect the stock to come back towards 120 mark at least over the next 1 to 3 months.
All right, Ankita, coming to you, Escorts Kubota. Why is this one in the spotlight?
That's correct, Cheryl. Scott's Kubota is in focus today. It's up 1% in trade today. Now, that is on the back of the news that the agri-machinery business division of the company will be increasing the prices for its tractors effective 16th of September onwards. And this increase in the prices would vary across models and variants and different geographies. And on the back of this news flow, the stock is up 1% in trade, and it also has been giving good gains for the last 6 months, up more than 52%, and year to date also it has run up 43%. But as of now, it is up 1% in trade on the back of this news flow.
Surely keeping an eye out on that one. But let's move on and talk about Bombay Dyeing. Why is this stock zooming in trade? It gained as much as 8% intraday as well. I believe it's still holding on to those gains of 8% as well. And it's hit a new 52-week high as well intraday when you look at it. And this came in after the company announced that it has settled the dispute with the private sector lender Axis Bank. And this deed of, there was a convenience deed which was signed on 4th of September, that's yesterday, in favor of Axis Bank, affecting the transfer of land at measuring 11,541 square feet, and this will lead to an independent and exclusive access to the banking major's headquarters for an approximately sum of 149 crore rupees, subject to the conventional terms that will be there as well, in terms and conditions that will be applicable. But yes, on the back of this settlement in terms of the dispute that is going to be settled, we are seeing that Bombay Dyeing is in focus, zooming away in trade, as of now also holding on to gains of 8%.
All right, moving on, let's talk about IDBI Bank. 4th consecutive day of gains coming in for IDBI Bank. In fact, the stock has actually hit an over 5-year high as we speak in today's trading session. As you can see on your screen, 5% uptick for this particular stock. You saw the stock actually saw a block deal of approximately 42.5 lakh shares earlier in the day. But apart from that, what's actually supporting the stock price is the fact that government has actually gone ahead and said that it has sought bids to appoint an asset valuer for the sale of its stake, and that held by the LIC in the bank. October 9th is supposed to be the date that they can submit this particular bid for appointing an asset valuer. So on back of the fact that there is some movement coming in on the divestment front of IDBI Bank, you can see the stock that has been pretty excited over the last 4 trading sessions today is also moving in trade because of the block deal that took place.
Absolutely. Let's move on and talk about DLF. And Kunal, I believe you've spoken about DLF as well before. This one has already seen a very good return. The realty sector, when you look at it, has seen a very good jump up and run up already. For DLF, do you think there is still more upside left, or what is the view on this now?
Looks like the stock should see more upside. So it's, I think, come back towards a major multi-year high. So the previous high the stock had made was around 2 months back, I think in the month of July, where the stock had made a high of 520. It surpassed today those levels, made a high of 525, which I think is managed to make the stock come back towards 2009 highs for a stock like DLF. Now, that's the interesting aspect about the chart, that with every passing month or in the subsequent month, the stock is actually making new highs for itself, riding on high momentum, volumes chasing the stock, lack of correction or major correction to call it for a stock like DLF, which is considered to be a high beta stock as well as from a high beta sector like the real estate. All of that should augur quite well for the stock price. So I'm extremely optimistic on the future prospects of DLF in terms of stock price movement, and would expect the stock to continue to move up higher significantly even from current levels.
All right, moving on then, Ashesha, let's talk about Paytm and why is this one in focus today?
It is in focus on the back of operational updates, and they've come in pretty strong. The stock is holding up with gains of over 1.5%. So the number of loans in the month gone by, that is in the month of August, stood at about 45 lakhs, which is an uptick of 4.7% on a month-on-month basis. As far as the value of loans is concerned, that too has seen an uptick of 6.2% on a month-on-month basis, while devices deployed saw an uptick of 6%. Monthly transacting users saw a marginal uptick. They stood at 9.4 crores, indicating an uptick of nearly 1%. So strong operational updates for the month gone by. The stock is holding up 1.6% higher in trade.
Let's move on and talk about Piramal Enterprises on the charts then. And Kunal, what is the indication you're picking up for Piramal Enterprises? What are the targets that you have for this one now?
So again, a stock which I've been very bullish on in the last 3 months from sub 700 levels is where we started to flag off Piramal Enterprise when the stock was below the 200 moving average. Now the stock is almost on the verge of making a 52-week high. The lifetime high levels for Piramal Enterprise is still far distance away from the current levels of 1100 where the stock is trading approximately. So 1600, 1650 is the previous major highs for Piramal Enterprise. I sense that the breakout which the stock has shown in this last 2-3 months from 600 odd levels to first breaking above the 200 DMA, and now with the 52-week high being possibly taken out, I believe that the prospects looks very attractive for the next 6 months to 1 year for Piramal Enterprise. So would continue to have a very strong bullish stance on the stock over that kind of a time span.
All right, that's the take coming on Piramal Enterprises. Ankita, power sector, the entire sector has been a buzz of late over the last 1 month or so. There is no stopping for the power sector, but why is it in focus today?
That's correct, Cheryl. Power sector is firing in all cylinders, and a couple of names in focus today: NTPC, Power Grid, JSW Energy, IEX and Tata Power. Now, this is on the back of a note that Jefferies came out with today, and according to them, the power demand trends are driving the rally, and one needs to be very selective with the names. And they also feel that the peak power demand has outpaced the availability most days since the last fortnight. And also they feel the merchant power prices are trading at a cap of 10 rupees per unit in the first 3 days of September, and the irregular rainfall pattern is impacting the hydro utilization. They also feel that the coal stocks are at normalized levels of 10 days and above, and the regular power demand is being met at the moment. They are maintaining they're maintaining underperform as of now on IEX and Tata Power, but the top picks remain NTPC, Power Grid and JSW Energy, and on the back of that, the entire pack is in focus today.
All right, that's the reason why power sector is in focus today, but Innovators Facade is listed on the SME segment of BSE on May 2018, and since then the stock has only jumped, has been jumping, and in fact it's jumped over 4 times ever since its listing. One of the famous investors of the last three, Vijay Kedia, owns actually more than 10% stake in the company. Given the boom that we are seeing in real estate industry, will Innovators Facade stand to gain? Let's find out with Rohit Sharma, who is the director at Innovators Facade, in this conversation with Ajay Sharma.
All right, so today we have a very interesting company in our studios right here. I'm talking about Innovators Facade. Rohit Sharma, Director Planning at Innovators Facade, is joining us on the show. If you've seen the Mumbai skyline, You've been traveling to, the business districts of Bangalore or Gurgaon. In high probability, there would be a few clutch of buildings where, the superb glass work on the exterior, that's the facade we are talking about. And up till now, the business of facades was done by some of the big MNCs here in India, and it was very unorganized kind of business. But companies such as Innovative Facade is doing some very good quality work out there and giving MNCs run for their money. Rohit, thank you very much for joining us on the show. So talk to us about, facade. There's less awareness, I must confess, regarding the kind of work which you're doing. But now people are understanding that the new age kind of building construction is happening. The facades have to be high quality glass. A lot of engineering goes into it. How's the the sector evolving, and what's the future of the kind of space you're working in?
Okay, first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Facade is a very unique industry. It is evolving with time. Earlier, we used to have traditional buildings made out of bricks and mortar and plasters. But now, with the requirement of high precision, materials, quick turnaround time, people have created more awareness, and then the facade industry has evolved. Mostly, we would work on prefabricated products, which help us, reduce the time on site and ultimately increase the timeline, increase the productivity of the product. Materials could be varied depending on GRC, stone, glass. So we do not have any limit. It's all about, finishing the structure.
So Rohit, I understand that you've been bagging some very marquee clients and projects from the likes of IKEA and few other, groups in the real estate side. Give us some more color on where the order book stands right now. How's the visibility and growth visibility?
Actually, we are working with a lot of multinational companies and corporates. Few of the names I would say: Embassy, Godrej, Lodha, Piramals, IKEA, and many more in pipeline, which which are not yet confirmed. So these clients are having a very clear-cut demand of high-quality product, precision timeline, and good service. Once we start fulfilling them, that's our aim. And working with corporates give you more stability in the market and scalability as well.
Talk to us about what is the growth outlook which you have, 30-40% or higher. I understand you're setting up a new factory as well, and your good order flow right now. Talk to us about the growth visibility on orders, as well as how do you have levers to press on higher profitability?
The market is huge. People claim it to be around 10,000 crores, and we just did 180 last year. So you can say there is no limit for growth. It's all about sustainability. It's about making those long-term decisions and not jumping too far ahead. Sure. So we are growing with time. We're doing 180 crores last year, and we expect it to be at least 10 to 15% minimum. Above that, it would pass 20% as well. Okay. So I'm giving you a very conservative figure, and I'm sure that market cap or increasing the scale is not the big deal. It's all about surviving in the business and giving the right service, which will give you repeat orders.
Okay, let's talk about expansion. You're setting up a new factory. What are the new regions you're expanding to, and what kind of new clients are you looking at, or is it only focused on India, the growth right now, or you have options of?
As I told you, opportunities are plenty. We need to make sustainable growth. I would stick to that. We are slowly increasing the infrastructure. Human resource also is a very important factor for us to live up to those expectations. We provide service along with product. So we need to keep a sync of the same. And India, looking at the growing market, I would say there is so much of opportunities in India. Going abroad is part of the plan, but not our major.
But you have an option. So one of the biggest growth triggers for you is unorganized to organized. So up till now, clients in corporate India were getting front facades, the building cladding done by unorganized guys. But now you are observing a big shift towards specialists such as your company.
Correct. The reason is because of increase in the government standards for good buildings. They have been very stringent, and we have to follow the minimum criterias, and those criterias are not less than the international standards. Once the standards increase, your cost, you have to improvise as the market takes you ahead, and that's, I would say, that is the major reason why the organized market is a big requirement for the country now.
Okay. All right, Rohit, thank you very much for your time today.
All right, thank you.